Yo guys, PY Tech here and welcome back to another video. Google took a different approach in making the Nexus 6P, and in collaboration with Huawei, they made, in my opinion, the best phone so far. Picking up the device for the first time, it felt noticeably lighter than the OnePlus 2 I was using earlier and equally as steady as the OnePlus 2. It is made of an aluminium unibody design and it has 9 chamfered edges and flat sides for a better grip. It comes with a 5.7-inch WQHD AMOLED display. It has 2 front-facing stereo speakers, an 8-megapixel front-facing camera, LED notification lights, proximity and ambient sensors on the front. On the top we have the 3.5mm headphone jack. On the bottom we have the USB Type-C port, which is capable of fast charging. On the right side you can find the raised power button and the volume rockers, which are very responsive and tactile. And the pattern on the power button helps in telling it apart from the volume buttons. On the back we have the 12.3-megapixel camera, laser assisted focus, a dual tone LED flash, and the fingerprint sensor called the Nexus imprint. Getting the rest of the specs out of the way, this device comes with a Snapdragon 810 processor clocked at 2 GHz, an Adreno 430 GPU, 3 GB of RAM, and storage ranging from 32 GB to 128 GB. And I've got the 32 graphite color from the other colors such as matte gold, aluminium, and frost. It also has a 3450 mAh battery, Bluetooth 4.2, and NFC. Because this phone is made of aluminium, it's really slippery and the graphite color collects a lot of fingerprints compared to the other colors. That's why I've got this slick carbon fiber deep brand skin on it to protect it from scratches and fingerprints. I'll leave a link down below so that you can get one for yourself. The Nexus 6P has one of the best AMOLED displays out there. It's very crispy and saturated with deep blacks and good contrast and very punchy colors. But if it is too saturated for your liking, you can make it less saturated by going into the settings, then scroll down to the developer settings if you have activated it, and under developer settings select color picture mode and check use sRGB. It has very good viewing angles and is fairly clear in direct sunlight on full brightness. Honestly, I'm really impressed with it. One of the main advantages of having a Nexus device is the fact that you get a pure Android experience just as Google intended it to be, and you are also first in line for any software updates whenever they are released, unlike other OEMs that keep you waiting for several months. This device comes with Android 6.0 Marshmallow. It's very snappy and hardly ever stutters or hiccups, but over the few months of using it, I occasionally get some slight stutters, which does not really affect the user experience. To be honest, I'm really surprised at how it still performs after all these months of heavy use. Now with Android 6.0 Marshmallow, Google has added some new features such as Now on Tap, and this is how it works basically. It gives you information on what is displayed on your screen when you hold the home button. For example, you receive a text message with an address and you can simply press down the home button and it brings up some Google cards with information related to the address. The second feature is called Dose, and basically it uses the sensors of the phone to determine whether or not it's being used, and when it's lying on a table or is stationary, it then refreshes the apps much more slowly in the background, hence cutting down the amount of energy used by the phone, which gives this device a very good standby time. Marshmallow has brought some very nice and controversial changes to the look of Android, especially in the app drawer. We no longer have the horizontal scrolling, it has been changed to vertical scrolling, and not everyone is excited about it. Personally, I don't really mind since it comes with a cool feature of your most recent apps at the top for easy access. Another new feature is the app permissions. So with this OS, you can give permissions to various apps only when you think they need it. For example, opening Instagram for the first time, trying to take a picture from the app, it will ask for permission to use the camera or to access your photo gallery, which is a welcomed feature. Now moving on to the camera, this phone comes with a 12.3-megapixel camera and comes with a 1.55 micron pixel size, which is bigger than most smartphone cameras, meaning it can take in more details and light to provide better quality pictures. But one thing I've noticed is it tends to overexpose some of its pictures and it also blows up the highlights. But fortunately you can correct most of this by using the HDR+ mode. Though it takes a little bit of time to take the picture, I think it's worth it considering the quality and details in the pictures you get. Just like most smartphone cameras, The Nexus 6P also suffers from grain and noise and sometimes a lot of sharpening, which gives it a very soft image. Usually this occurs when you're shooting in low light or low lit areas or dark areas. But once again, with HDR Plus on, you get all the details back and better looking pictures. When it comes to video recording, it doesn't perform very well. It does not come with OIS, so handheld shots are usually shaky. It records 4K at 30 frames per second and slow motion at 120 frames and 240 frames at 720p respectively. It also comes with other features such as slow motion, lens blur, panorama and photosphere. This device performs very well in day-to-day usage. It handles apps pretty well except for some occasional stutters. But opening and closing apps is pretty quick thanks to the Snapdragon 810 chip on board, and the 3 gigs of RAM also helps in keeping multiple tabs and apps open in the background. Multitasking is very smooth and snappy, and overall the performance is amazing. Moving on to the battery, it performs averagely. We all know it packs a 3450 mAh battery, but I usually get between 3.5 to a little over 4 hours of screen on time through a typical day of texting, watching videos, and browsing through social media. I think it's quite impressive considering the internals and the high resolution display is powering, and those also helps to improve it on usage since it saves a lot of energy when the phone is not in use. Moving on to the speakers, I must say the speakers on this device is outstanding. It has 2 stereo speakers located on the front of the phone, one at the top and the other at the bottom, which gives you clear and crispy sound, and they are pretty loud and can easily be compared to the boom sound from previous HTC smartphones. They are really good and I'm really glad Google kept it, and I hope other companies will implement front-facing speakers on their future smartphones. It makes watching videos and listening to music much more enjoyable. Though it has pretty much nailed most of the things needed in a smartphone, Google still insists on not adding SD card slots for expansion, but you can pick up one of these phones starting with the storage option of 32GB. Apple, take notes. Or if you have money to blow, you can go for the 64GB or even the 128GB option. Overall, I think this is the best smartphone Google has made so far, and have addressed most of the troubling issues from previous devices, which is the camera. This time they had it right, which makes it pretty easy for me to recommend this phone to just about anyone considering the affordable price tag of £449 in the UK or $500 in the United States. I think that's a wrap. Thank you guys for watching, and please do well to subscribe and hit the thumbs up button below if you liked it, or the dislike button if you did not like it, and leave a comment below telling me what you don't like, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.